So I made this long ass video about Team Canada and picking the team as I was going along. And I have the team. And I picked the team and just kind of laid out my thoughts as I was going along. But I realized at the end of it, like, the general manager is going to pick the team, right? So instead of trying to kind of decide and think about what will be picked, and my picks, like this, you know what I mean? So he was with the Stars and with the Blues, right? I think it's fair to say that they're both pretty. I think it's safe to say that we can expect a tougher team with that. Just a flat out tougher team. One that will, you know what I mean? Let's choose somebody with less goals. Like, do you I have at the moment, and it's got me kind of, I'm just kind of curious. McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. And I want those three together because you want the most powerful line possible, I'm thinking. And why not keep them together? Because, like, you know what I mean? And then Marchand, O'Reilly, Bergeron. You need Bergeron and Marchand together because those two are. They have like a 450 combined plus minus plus. They're up like a plus 450. It's nuts. It's almost stupid not to have them on the ice together, and just how dangerous they are. If Team Canada ever gets down, like, you might as well put them on the ice for 10 minutes and just let them two do it because they'll figure it out. So you need Marchand and Bergeron. And then I was thinking, why not O'Reilly in the middle? Why not Ryan O'Reilly? Yeah. Next up, Stamkos, Stone, Point. Seems pretty legit. Why not? Why not? Why not? And then I had Barzal, Huberdeau, Perron. Barzal, Huberdeau, Perron. And then the beauty of Perron and O'Reilly is they can swap and we can do things with them if so be, you know what I mean? If Bergeron or Marchand get a penalty, you can throw one of them up. Or whatever you want to do, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so now that, taking into account Doug Armstrong, what might it be? But I guess for defense, I threw down, if we're going to kind of go off what's happening right now and assume that it continues going forward, I want Nurse and Barry, because that's kind of the best combination in hockey at the best 1-2 in hockey at this moment in time. I know it's kind of interesting, it's like really Nurse and Barry, but it is what it is. And then Gerard and Graves. Gerard's been impressive. He hasn't been slowing down. Makar's been injured left and right, and I mean, it's kind of, you kind of have to assume it's going to continue throughout his career, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And then you need some experience with Pietrangelo and Weber, and then you can. Yeah, I feel like that line is kind of your. I don't know. I feel like that's just, you kind of need them. Pietrangelo and Weber, that just kind of feels needed. It feels like if they're not on there, it would be weird. I don't know. Just kind of needed. And then for goalies, if we're going off of right now, I want Flower, I want Kemper, and I want Drager. I know, Drager, right? The Florida goalie. I know. It's weird, but we're assuming this is continuing. So yeah. Now, you know what? I got a little too galaxy brain there for a second. I think the best, Jari. I think Jari, Flower, Kemper, and Jari seems like legitimate trio. But is this a Doug Armstrong team? So you got, like, do we take out what about Brent Burns, Dougie Hamilton? Do we take out Nurse and Barry and add Hamilton, Letang? No, not Letang. No. Yeah, Burns. I feel like Graves is good. Like, you can't go wrong with Graves. Graves Riley? What if we did like a Graves Pietro Angelo? Hamilton, Burns, Graves, Weber. Is there anybody different that can fit in there? Doughty? Hamilton, Burns, Graves, Pietrangelo, Weber, Doughty. That seems pretty legit. That seems pretty legit. McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. God, I just love that. I know nobody wants it for some reason, but I just love it. And then Marchand Bergeron needs to be your second line. Like, that's just, it needs to happen. Do you double up teammates? Like, this is my thing. You could just have a lot of pairs from the same team. Like, are we really trying to, like, what are we trying, like, cause Nurse and Barry, like, if you have a proven duo, let's say they continue where they are now and continue doing this into next year, do you not take that duo? And this is again where I come back to with Gerard. Like, Gerard is one of the best defensemen in the league. This gets tough. This gets tough. This gets tough. Like Graves and Gerard. Like you. Pye, Weber. Then you could go like Riley, Hamilton. Like Hamilton, Burns, Graves, Petrangelo, Weber, Doughty. You could have Nurseberry, Pye, Weber, Riley, Hamilton. You could have Nurseberry, Gerard, and Graves. Like Nurseberry. What if there was Nurseberry? Nurseberry. Gerard, Graves. Pye, Weber. You know, like this is the issue, and it's such a good problem to have. It's such a good problem to have. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Like let's say next year, the Leafs, for example, they continue to still be a top 5 team. Do you take Tavares Marner, Barry Nurse, and then you just have pairs: Tavares Marner, Barry Nurse, Bergeron, Marchand. So let's do this. Okay, so you have McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. I need that's my top pair. You do Bergeron blank with Marchand. Do you do Perron, O'Reilly? Do you do this is what I mean. Do you do Tavares, Marner? And then who could we fill those in? Do you do Tavares, Marner, Perron, Riley, Point, Stamkos? Like, you know what I mean? This is... And then you could do those pairings, right? And then you could pair those along with the Nurse plus Barry, the Gerard plus Graves. You know what I mean? It's so... That's kind of comforting in a way. You know what I mean? In a sense, like, you have these pairs that you know kind of work together. But again, at the same time, is that a type of team that Doug Armstrong wants to build? I'm assuming he wants tougher, right? He's going to want things that are going to want to hit more, I'm assuming, right? Weber Pye, that just needs to happen for some reason. That just needs to happen for me. Weber and Pye need to be in that back end. Nurse Berry, Gerard Graves, Weber Pye. You got real legit NHL pairings that don't need to try and, you know what I mean, Weber and Pye, they've been in the game long enough that they know, you know what I mean, Gerard and Graves, they're young, but they can get it. You know, and so yeah, like, you know what I mean? And then, so, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Like, Bergeron, Barzal, Marchand. Bergeron, Barzal, Marchand. Why not? Or if I guess if we want to not do it my way, imagine McDavid, Barzal. McDavid, Barzal, McKinnon. That would be wild. That would be wild. Yeah, that would be absolutely wild of a first line. So I get why people. There's just something, there's that something of just McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. Just seems like it would just be deadly. And then I could see, you know what I mean. At the exact same time, we could prop this up. We do Crosby. Bergeron, Crosby, Marchand. Like, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. That is pretty nuts. That is pretty fucking nuts. That is pretty nuts. And I could see why many people want to go in that direction. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. So, Perron and O'Reilly, who would be good in between those two? Who would be fun in between those two? Who would be good in between those two? See, this is the thing. Do you do Kadri? Do you throw in Kadri? Well, we should probably throw in Stone, okay? Should probably do that. Oh my god, imagine Perron, Stone, O'Reilly. That'd be pretty funny. That'd actually be really funny. I feel like just because like they would know, right? They would know because they play against each other and shit, so they would know, right? So that works because they would know. Yeah, they would know. So let's do Perron, Stone, O'Reilly. Yeah, and then I think I wanted to point in Stamkos because they're winners, baby. They're winners. Like, nothing against Marner and Tavares, but you got proven winners. What do you put in between a point and a Stamkos? What do you put in between a point and a Stamkos? Marner? Why not? Who's centering that? Who's centering that? Stamkos? Stamkos centering that? Yeah, why not? Okay, so we'll do that. Well, I'll get rid of. We'll do this for a different version. So for team one, I would do McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, just for my own love of Canada and hockey. Then Marchand, O'Reilly, Bergeron, because that needs to happen. Stamkos, Stone, Point. And then Barzal, Huberdeau, Perron. And then you get, oh God, I don't even know. Hamilton, Burns, Graves, Pietrangelo, Weber, Doughty. Any combination of those six. Really, yeah, honestly, any combination of those six. Or if you want to team things up a bit, you want Nurse and Barry, Graves and Gerard. And then Pye and Weber are happening no matter what. Ryan O'Reilly can even be the seventh D-man, if allowed. Seventh D-man, why not? And then Flower, Kemper, and Jari are goalies. Flower starting. And then Kemper and Jari can fight for seconds or whatever. And then, that would be, team one, whatever. And then on the bottom end, McDavid, Barzal, McKinnon. Just be, imagine that speed. Oh my God, the fastest line hockey's ever seen. That might be the most skilled line hockey's ever seen. But then again, right, if whatever. Crosby, if you add that too, that's just, you know what I mean? But then Bergeron, Crosby, Marchand, that's juicy. That's so juicy. You got to admit that's better than O'Reilly, right? Like, you kind of have to admit that. I'll admit that that's better than O'Reilly. Perron, Stone, O'Reilly. Do you know what I mean? Point, Stamkos, Marner. Because why not? Nurse and Barry, Gerard and Graves, Weber and Pye. And then, Hamilton or O'Reilly? Yeah, I don't know. Hamilton or O'Reilly, I'm kind of torn between the two, to be honest. Either or. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so damn fun. But yeah. I just hope it's good hockey, man. I just hope it happens. I just hope it's good hockey. That's all that I care for. Just some damn good hockey. Cool.